Everyone, it's Sami from Sami's Sweet Life, and today is a weird video, especially for me. It's kind of a weird video, but I wanted to show you guys my beginning food prep. It's food preparation, emergency prep, emergency preparedness, whatever you want to call it, food hoarding to some degree. But I wanted to share this with you guys because all of the things going on really got me panicked. So we're in the middle of getting ready to move. We knew we were going to be moving at the end of March. So starting, I don't know exactly when, definitely as early as February, maybe even into January, I knew we were going to try to use up most of the food in the house so we didn't have to move things. So we were doing a pantry clean out, a freezer clean out, a fridge clean out, making sure we were getting down to just like bare bones necessities. And then things started happening in the world. Food started becoming a little bit more scarce, and I started to panic because I had already gotten the pantry down so low. I did not have good stock of anything, any essentials, and things ran out. So I started panicking, and since then things have gotten steadily worse. We have moved into the house. We are able to get food, obviously, but the pantry staples, some of them are still not readily available. So I've been grabbing things every order. Like if I can find certain things in stock, like pasta or rice, they go in and out of stock. So when I'm placing a grocery order, I will check things like that and add a bag or two of things to my order and slowly build back up some stockpile. And since doing this, I want to have some more long-term storage stuff for just in case this ever happens again, because I don't want to be caught in the situation we were caught in where our pantry was super low and things started running out. It was something I've never experienced before. We are incredibly blessed that we didn't have like a real true food shortage, food emergency, but you never know. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know if power's gonna go out or if the water's gonna be cut off or who knows what can happen. So I just wanna be a little more prepared. This whole thing got me really mindful of all the things that possibly could go wrong. And I don't want to get super paranoid about it, and I don't want to hoard food to an extreme level, like hoard food that we won't be able to eat and go through within a reasonable amount of time. But I definitely want to have a full pantry. I never want to have an empty pantry again if we can help it. So that's part of where this comes from, part of this like little insecurity that I had going into not having a fully stocked pantry and running out of things, like getting really close to running out of flour, totally running out of rice at some point. Yeast is one of those things that still goes in and out of stock here. And so I'm just making sure we're prepared. I do have a freezer. I have like things like meat, bagged veggies, little ready-made meals and stuff that we can go through with that. But I want to have dry pantry staples because that was one of the first things that was cleared off of the shelves. And I want to just never have that happen again where I'm like, I can't bake anything because I don't have flour or I don't have yeast or something of that nature. So I am slowly working on building the stockpile. Like I said, just every grocery haul I add like $10, $15, $20 in for just extra stuff, whatever I can find. Same thing with the toilet paper. Every once in a while, I buy an extra pack of toilet paper, even if we don't need it yet, just so we don't get close to running out because of the toilet paper crazies. And still, toilet paper goes in and out at my stores. So it's just one of those things, like some things we still can't get, like ramen noodles. I just got a different brand of ramen noodles for the first time in months since March. I have not been able to get them, and it is the beginning of September. So I really wanted to put this video together, talk about what I'm doing to keep prepared. And it's not taking a whole lot every week or every month, but overall I'm getting more prepared. I'm stocking things. I'm making sure we have emergency supplies just in case, like emergency water. Even though we went through a boil water notice, I still didn't have a good, legit stock of water. I just had a couple of gallons of water, and that won't get you very far if you lose water. So I want to make sure we have the recommended amounts of things. And like as a beginner food prepper, emergency prepper, they say about 3 to 6 months worth of food, of dried goods and things. So like if you got in a pinch, you could survive with that. Obviously, I'm not going to store 3 to 6 months of water, but I'm going to store more than just a couple of gallons I had that would last us like a day. So The recommendation is 1 gallon of water per person per day. So I'm right on getting us up to like 4 to 5 days worth of water. Again, that's something I'll add to the order. Here and there, I'll add a gallon of water. We have had the boil water notice that happened in Austin, and the water and everything was just cleared off the shelves. I got some jars, and I'll tell you my system for like dry jarring things. And what I found when I'm looking at food prep, like long-term storage, things that you want to sit on the shelf for years and years and you're not going to touch unless there's an emergency. Like you'll rotate them out from time to time and use that supply. But the goal is to just leave it on your shelves and you don't get into it unless you need to. And I did it in a way with my jars that I can reuse the lids and fill them up again. So I did like semi long-term storage the way I did it. And what I found when I'm looking through all the food prep stuff, there's no ideal perfect way to do this. There's always pros and cons to each method. Like doing the jar method, jars are susceptible to being broken. So in an earthquake prone area, jars probably is not going to be the best way to go. The positive with jars is you can reuse them. Like you can seal and unseal them. You can use them again and again. Even the jars, when you just do vacuum sealing or use oxygen absorbers, you can still use the actual seal, the top part again. When you're actually legit canning, you can't use those again, but then they'll still last for years and years. So that's the positive to the jar method. Also, jars are pretty cheap. I got a pack of 12 of these for 10 bucks, so a little bit less than $1 a jar, which is awesome. You can also get like the 5 and 10 gallon plastic food grade drums. They are susceptible to infestation. A bug's not going to get into this. There's people walking by, but a bug's not going to get into this jar. Like it's pretty airtight, pretty safe. Bugs can't chew through it and stuff, where they can chew through the Mylar bags or the big giant drums. And obviously leaving food in its original packaging, like the rice came in a plastic pack, that's really susceptible to ripping, to creatures getting in, to chewing things. So for a long-term storage, you don't want to keep like pasta in the little square box things or the baggy things like the rice comes in. You want to put it in something that's going to be more long-term. So you have to research each method, see what works for you. I've heard mixed reviews about actual dry canning. One of the problems with this method that I'm using is if there are any like eggs and bugs, and these are things you don't want to talk about, but it's a legit thing. If there are eggs and bugs and things, the problem is they will hatch and stuff. So you make sure you get all the oxygen out. It's just gross. It's gross. You have to research it and see. So no method's the perfect method, but I picked the method that I felt like would work best for us because it's really easy to do, it's reusable, and it will still sit on the shelf for years and years. One of the other things is the tin cans, like aluminum cans, they can last for a really long time, but once you pop the seal, it's got to be used right then. So I don't feel super comfortable with that because they're like big drums of things that our family just won't be able to go through fast enough, I feel like. So I'm probably not going to do that. I'll do regular size cans and just get enough that we will cycle through before it expires. And then something like this where I have some longer term things. I want to get some beans and stuff in the jars. So enough chit chat. Let's go ahead and hop into the kitchen. I'll show you guys what I did this morning to get everything in the jars and talk about my method and show you guys like my future ideas, future plans, show you where I'm storing things and all that jazz. So let's go ahead and hop into the kitchen. So first I'm going to show you, this is my baking / jar section. I do have these small ones. We bake overnight oats in these ones. I don't know if they might be pint size jars. So I really like those for just overnight oats, but I plan on maybe making some little things in there, possibly to freeze or to preserve. I know they're good for like jam and stuff, but I don't do any sort of actual canning. And then I have one set of the 32-ounce mason jars. These are the wide mouth ones. I was able to snag these from Target. I went in here to get this one out so I could show you guys the rest. And then I've also been keeping her baby food jars because I thought I would make big batches of like sweet potatoes or something and freeze for her because she really likes sweet potatoes. I just have not done that yet. So that's on the possible to-do list. I also thought I could do pumpkin or butternut squash, some of the things she really likes that if I cook it at home, it makes a huge giant batch. That's on the kind of to-do list thing. And then there's some other just baking section stuff, ingredients, and we do keep this one closed now, the little baby thing, so she can't get in there. So I needed this one to show you guys my system here. So I ended up buying oxygen absorbers through Amazon. It was one of the places I could find them. I got a big giant pack of them and I have them in the mason jar so they can't get more oxygen. And then I was able to get this set of mason jars. I showed this in a grocery haul. It is another 32 ounce or quart size mason jar, but these ones are the regular lid. They're not the wide mouth. I'm not able to find the wide mouth right now, and you may have trouble finding these. I've looked on Amazon. I've gotten the wide mouth pack from Target after just marking on their notify me when back in stock, and they still have not shown up yet after weeks and weeks, but I was able to snag one pack of them quite a while ago, just months ago, because I wanted to do some chicken broth, which I do have in the freezer. So I really like the wide mouth ones in particular, but the skinny mouth, normal sized mouth ones will work in a pinch. And so I talked about earlier in my video, like the method for like, as I'm getting regular groceries, I add a few things to my cart. So I have these 2 flour things. I haven't gotten pastry flour in a long time, so I've just been using it for all-purpose flour. So I end up with 2 giant jugs of all-purpose flour. These are IKEA canisters. I really like the frosted glass, and I do have a video on how I put the vinyl on there when I redid my baking section. And they also have one of these skinnier style ones with sugar in it. And so those are the ones I keep fresh in the pantry at all times. And then I plan on having like 1 to 2 backup bags and then having cans of everything else. So I've got the oxygen absorbers to go in with the cans, or the jars, sorry, I keep calling them cans. But these are the more long-term things. They should last years and years in these jars like this. I've got an oxygen absorber on the top and the bottom of each of these jars. And so I ended up using all 12 of the jars I got, and then 1 wide mouth jar, and then 1 wide mouth jar just to hold the oxygen absorbers so they won't get exposed to more oxygen. So this is semi-long-term storage. I can pop the lids off of these and reuse the lids because I have not actually done any canning with these. With canning lids, you actually can't use them again. I definitely want to get a vacuum sealer for things like rice and oats and things, dried beans, because you can vacuum seal them with a special attachment with a food saver or a vacuum sealer. I just have not been able to find it in stock at all, anywhere. So I've been looking for those from time to time. I do have a notification marked on certain websites to get notified if they ever come back in stock, but that's just one of the things people grabbed really early on to start their food prepping journey. And I wasn't there yet. We were like in the middle of moving with a baby. So I ended up putting labels on here with a Sharpie marker, and you can use rubbing alcohol and get Sharpie markers off so you can reuse the lids. And so I've got sugar, again, oxygen absorber on the bottom and the top, so they should last quite a while. And I tried to tighten these as tight as I could get them. And then I also have some flour and then some rice. And I also have 2 canisters of rice in the pantry, this size. So it holds like basically 4 pounds of rice. So this is my first set of stuff. I do plan on doing one more set with more flour and also more rice, and also getting some dried beans. We generally use canned beans, but I want to have some jars of dried beans that will last for a long, long time. So I can leave these, not have to worry about, you know, running out of stuff if the stores run out of stuff for who knows what, whatever panic buy situation we get into. So I'm just excited to have them packaged up. I do need more flour packaged up. I would love to get the 64 ounce jars, but I don't know if I'll be able to find those for more flour. I don't know that I'm going to do like the big plastic drums of stuff, because I just won't go through that much stuff with our family. Another thing of jars, or 2 things of jars, will be plenty for us. I'm not gonna store years and years worth of stuff, but I definitely want to have a stockpile of some things just in case, just to be more mindful. That's what I've got so far. I think it's a good start. I've been slowly, you know, accumulating the actual items in here, like the bags of sugar. And so this was 1 5-pound bag of flour. And then I had a little bit more that I put in one of these, and then I filled up the rest with a 5-pound bag of flour. So there's 10 pounds of flour right there. And then as far as the sugar, one of those 4-pound bags of sugar fills 2 of these and just a little bit more. So I was able to do 3 4-pound bags, so 12 pounds of sugar, and then some of it went in here too. So I filled this one up to the top and then had a little excess left in the last one. So I did go through 3 things of sugar throughout this thing, and then this is 2 of the 2-pound bags of rice, or 4 pounds of rice. and it didn't quite fill up 3 of the 32-ounce jars. So that gives you an idea of how much actually went into these. And so yeah, I'm gonna keep on going with this. You can also store pasta like this to make it last longer as well. So it's supposedly you're not supposed to keep it in the boxes if you're not gonna use it for a long time. You can put it in here with oxygen absorbers and it will last a lot longer that way too. It's starting to rain, that's the noise in the background. So I definitely wanna do more rice, the beans, the oatmeal, possibly some of the pastas, and then definitely more flour, because that won't get me very far. You can see the cups on the side. So that's four cups of flour basically in that jar. So that'll get me baking like 2 batches of cookies per jar kind of situation. So there you go. And you may be wondering where I'm gonna put all this stuff. That's what the top cabinets are for. So I've got almost all of these top cabinets empty except extra stock food. Like I have extra condiments and sauces in that upper cabinet there. I don't even know if there's actually anything in there. There's a vent spot there, but I don't know that I put anything in there. We have lots of room to work with, just tons. Like, I don't think there's anything up there or any of these uppers. I've got plenty of room. I did start putting some stuff up there. I've got tea, taco shells, the oats that I want to get a couple more of. There's some baking things like baking soda, salt. There's my extra bag of flour that I will keep in reserve. I'll have 1 open bag like that because I can go through that pretty quick. And then a giant thing of yeast that I don't want to open until I absolutely have to. And then extra baking things like chocolate chips, marshmallows. We go through that pretty regularly. And the ramen noodles, I put 1 so I could reach it because I only have like 3 packs in the pantry that we've been holding on to because I couldn't find any more. And then up there I've got more bags of pasta and the other things of ramen noodles I just got. So I'm slowly accumulating some stuff, but there's a lot of room in there for things. I can put the jars up at the top. I'll get the step stool and show you guys that section. So when I find enough jars, I can bag up some of that or jar up some of that. And I've got 2 more bags of rice here. I like to keep at least 1 or 2 bags now, because we go through rice probably more than anything else. So I definitely want to get a nice stockpile of rice going. And then there are the ramen noodles, but look, like that goes all the way back and I don't have anything in there. I could definitely put jars in there. And I did keep the cardboard thing so that I can stack them, I think. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. So I plan on hopefully stacking them. So maybe I could do 2 if they'll fit in here. And then on this side, I do have more baking stuff. So the left-hand bin is seasonal baking things like Christmas cello bags, seasonal sprinkles, that kind of thing. Little mold things for Halloween and Christmas shaped chocolate things. And then the other one on the right-hand side is extra baking ingredients like cream of tartar, extra extracts, muffin cups, things that I would need to replenish in the baking section. And so I've got a good little stockpile going. I definitely want to keep going. So every grocery haul, I'll add to this a little bit at a time. And the last thing I'm going to show you is where I've been just putting the water right now. So you've got like seasonal stuff that I don't know what to do with yet. And then like air filters, the Christmas tree. There's stuff in here, but it's mostly an empty closet. And Johnny said I could get shelves if I want to really like go all out. I can get shelves and line this wall and go nuts. Like he's totally given me free reign to stockpile food if I really want to, but I'm not to that point yet. I definitely am adding to it every grocery haul, but I don't want to go too much. I don't want to have so much that we're going to spoil things. I do have the water here. You're supposed to have a gallon per family member per day for 3 days. And so these 2 are distilled water. They go in the steam mop and we give our Venus flytrap that water. So those 2 are that. And so I've got 3, 6, 7, 8 of those in here. I've got 4 in the other pantry. So that actually is 12, but I am going to get a few more. So I've just been adding a couple of these to my grocery order. They're less than $1 a bottle, and I don't have a good place to store them. So right now they're just right here. I've got a few in the pantry, but I'm going to probably move them out of the pantry and put other things in the pantry, and then possibly just keep these in here or move them somewhere else. And I'll have to be creative with that one because we've got plenty of space in the house. It's not a space issue. It's just an organizational issue. Like, this closet needs major help. It just has tons of weird stuff in it, like her car seat. So I just have to work on making it look nicer and organizing it a little better. And here it is. I stacked things by row. So that's sugar, flour, and rice. I definitely need to get more rice and flour. And then I kept the box because they're nice and sturdy, and I plan on doing two high, like so. And they have plenty of room. So that way I can have like just one little dedicated section of emergency food. Maybe 2 little sections, since there's all sorts of things right there too. I moved the ramen noodles over to put that there. But there you go. I've got my little beginning emergency stash going. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it's not too much gloom and doom. I do feel like everybody needs to just be a little more mindful given the current situation. I don't know or think that it's going to get crazy worse, but it's just enough push I needed to get a little bit more prepared. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll have another video for you guys if you guys are interested in more like following me along on my food preparedness, emergency preparedness journey. We're not prepared. Like, people have like emergency backpacks. We don't have emergency backpacks. These are things that I've just been really naive and not really paid attention. So that's one of the things we're going to do, is we're going to get an emergency backpack ready and hopefully like be able to have everything to where if there is a true emergency, we are ready. Like, we're not ready right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.